Hello everyone, this is our third video in Python Programming MOOC 2023 series, and we are continuing with section number 3 in part 1, more about variables. So without further ado, let's get started. Our learning objectives in this video are we should be able to use variables in different contexts. Secondly, we will know what kind of data can be stored in variables, and finally, we will understand the difference between strings, integers, and floating point numbers. Okay, let's get started. Okay, first of all, we will fill in this questionnaire. Before getting started with this section, you will get one exercise point for answering. So let's see, what do we have here. This background information used for scientific research. If you agreed to research permit earlier and for developing the course material and exercise, actually I didn't agree, but I think we might do it. What is the highest degree you have completed so far? Okay, you know what? I will pause for a second and I will do this questionnaire in order not to waste a lot of time doing this. So you might hold on for a minute and I will get back right after it. Okay, let's continue our section. First of all, variables are needed for various purposes. In programming, you can use variables to store any information that will be needed later in program's execution. In Python programming, variables are created like so. Variable name, first of all, we create a name for our variable, and then we assign a value for it, depending on the type of this variable or data type of this variable, whether it is string, integer, decimal, a double number, a decimal number, sorry, or and so on, a float, boolean, and we will get to know the data types in this course, later in this course, I'm sorry. Here means the value stored in the variable. Here the points, he means the points, these points, these dots, are the value or the data stored in the variable. For example, when you use the input command to read a string from the user, you stored that string in the variable and then used the variable later in your program. Like he said, when we in the previous section we made a variable and we assigned this variable to an input command in which we are getting a value from the user, and the data type of this variable is a string. So we are expecting to get a name or a series of characters. You stored the string in a variable and then used the variable later in your program, as in this example which we did before, which is name. We made a variable called name. We assigned it to the input command, and we asked the user to write an input or to write a name where we are saying what's your name, and we are expecting a name from the user. And then we printed the value of the variable using the print command. We said print hi and the name of the user. So for example, when the user type Ghosty, we will say hi Ghosty, and so on. The value stored in a variable can also be defined using other variables. For example, given name equal Paul, family name equal Python, name equal given name plus this is a space or blank space and then plus family name. So when we print name here, we assigned both of these variables to one variable, so we can assign different variables in one variable, like this example here. Here we got the given name, which is Paul, and the family name, which is Python, and we assign both of these values, or both of these variables, to the name variable here, as in this example. So when we print the name, or when we print this variable, we're expecting to get the Paul Python name, his given name and his family name. Here is the value. Here the values stored in three variables are not obtained from user input. They remain the same every time the program is executed. This is called hard coding data into the program. So basically, what does that mean is we are not getting any input from the user, so there is no external data are not encoded to the program. Each or every data is just hard coded, like the programmer gave the data to the program already, so there is no need to provide the program with an input or a data from the user. So that what hard coding data mean, like a data already coded by the programmer in the program, so there is no need to get an input from the user. Okay, changing the value of the variable. As implied by the name variable, the value stored in a variable can change. In previous section, we noticed that the new value replaces the old one, or the new value overwrite the old one. During the execution of the following programs, the variable word will have three different values. Word, for example, we made a variable called word, and we typed in the assignment of this variable input, please type in a word, and we printed the variable print word. We will see input. We will see please type in a word as an output, and then we assign another variable, another value to the word variable, where we typed input and another word. So the new value will overwrite the previous one. So we are expecting to see and another one in the output, and finally we will see another output, which is third, since it overwrote the second and first variable. Okay, so the output will be like the following: please type in a word. We typed first, we can see first, and another word second, we can see second, and then we will see here we didn't get any input from the user. We just typed the we typed word equal third, so we didn't have to add value for the user. Sorry guys for the noise. Let's continue. As we said before, we didn't ask the user to type any input, and we hard coded third in the third value. And the reason why we can see please type in a word and another word is, as I said before, that Python is an interpreted language, and in order to execute an interpreted language, you will have to execute each line of code one by one as you go through the program. In contrast to the compiled languages, where you compile or translate the man code or the written code into a machine code first, and then you execute it. And if we did this example using a compiled language, like for example like C or C++, you will not see those lines. You will only see this, because the value will be overwritten, then you will only see this one. Even when you see print, it will just print third. It will print third 3 times. So let's continue. The value stored in the variable changes each time, and the variable is assigned a new value. The new value of a variable can be derived from its old value. In the following example, the variable word is first assigned a value based on user input. Then it is assigned a new value, which is the old value with 3 exclamation marks added to the end, as we said before. Okay, in this example, word equal input. Please type in a word, and the user will type a word, and we will print it using the print command. Secondly, word equal word plus 3 exclamation marks. So we assigned a new value to the old one. So when we print it again, we will see that we added 3 exclamation mark to the new word. So the output will be like the following. Please type in a word, and the user type test or anything. But for this example, let's stick with test. So when you type test, the output will be test as you printed this variable. But then you added exclamation mark to this variable. So when you print it again, it will be overwritten. Then the value of this variable will be test and 3 exclamation mark, as you can see in the output. Okay, let's continue. Choosing a good name for a variable. It is often useful to name variables according to what they are used for. This is a good practice. Like when you are intending in making a variable, it's a good practice to name this variable according to its use. So for example, if you are going to ask for a name, you might type the name of the variable simply name or the first name or and so on. For example, if the variable contains a word, the name word is a better choice than, say, a, which doesn't represent anything. There is no set limit to the length of variable name in Python, but there are some other limitations. A variable name should begin with a letter, and it can only contain letters, numbers, and underscores. So in naming practice of our variables, we can simply name our variable with any length. Like there is no limit to the length. For example, we can make it as big as we want, but it's not a good practice actually. So it's preferable to name the variable a short name, and also there are some limitations, like we are not adding a number in the beginning of the variable name, but we can add numbers in the middle or at the end of the variable name. We can also add underscores, but we can't add other symbols like at and so on. Lowercase and uppercase letters are different characters. Okay, so Python is also a case-sensitive, a case-sensitive language. So uppercase and lowercase are considered different characters or considered different values. So for example, if you type name, a lowercase name, it will be different than an uppercase N in name. And name also is different than N capital, and other words are small or lowercase, are all different variables. These are all different variables. So this is not like this, and this is not like this, and this is not like this. Or are all different variables. Okay. While this rule has few exceptions, we will ignore those for now. Okay. Finally, it is common programming practice in Python to use only lowercase characters in variable names. It's common, but you can ignore them. You don't have to stick to the rule, but it's good practice to follow it, as it will make it easier for other programmers to review your code and understand it. If the variable name consists of multiple words, use an underscore between the words. Yes, you can do this. You can also, there are different ways in naming variables. While this rule also have a few exceptions, we will ignore those for now. Okay. Here we will discuss our first data type, which is integers. Thus far, we have only stored strings and variables, but there are also many other types of information we will want to store and access later. Let's have a look at integers. First, integers are numbers that don't have a decimal or fractional part. There is no floating point in these numbers. These are discrete numbers. These are integers. For example, we can say negative 15 is an integer, 0 is an integer, 1 is an integer. Any number that doesn't have any decimals or any floating points or any fractions is considered as an integer. The following program create the variable age, each contain an integer value. So, for example, let's say that we make a variable called age and we assign 24 as its value. So when we print age, we are expecting to see 24. Okay. Notice the lack of quotation marks here. In fact, if we were to add quotation marks around the number, this would mean our variable would no longer be an integer, but a string instead. A string can contain numbers, but it is processed differently. Okay. So why does it matter that variables have a type when the following program still prints out the same thing twice? So for example, if we type number 1 and we assign it 100, so it's considered an integer. However, if we type number 2 between quotation marks 100, we will also see an output of 100. So why does it matter, or what's the difference between both when we can see that it's the same thing as an output? Okay. The difference lies in the way of processing these data. So for example, if I try to integrate number 2 in an arithmetic operation, actually I might get an error because this is not actually a number, it's a string, or it's considered as a string. Although it seems or looks like a number, however, the way of processing this data type will be different than number 1, where we can use it in arithmetic operation normally without having any issues. Okay, as we can see here, variable types matter because different operations, as I said, affect different types of variables in different ways. Let's have a look at an example. So, if I try to add number 1 to number 1, I will get 200, and this is a normal operation, normal adding operation. In contrast to the second line, which is print number 2 plus number 2, where I will get 100 concatenated or adjacent to 100, another 100. So this doesn't make sense in the arithmetic logic, because and that's happened because number 2 is not really an integer, or is not a real number, it's just a string. So it is normal to see two strings concatenated to each other when I type the plus sign here. So plus sign here is represented as a concatenation operator, not an addition operator. For integer values, the plus operator means addition, as I said. But for the string, values mean concatenation, for stringing together, as I said also. Not all operators are available for all types of variable, while numbers can be divided using the division operator. Attempting to divide a string by a number causes an error, so this is normal. If I try to divide a string over a number, it will get an error. It's not a supported operation. I can't divide a string. Okay, let's continue. Combining values when printing. Similarly, the following program will not work because the result is and result are two different types. Here we can see that result equal 10 times 25. We assigned a value here where where result equal 10 times 25. It will basically give us the total or the result of this multiplication, which is basically 250. So the following line produces an error. Yes, print the result is plus result. Here, when we added plus, we are expected to concatenate the result is to the result, which is an integer. And actually, concatenating two different data types will result in an error. Because it will think that this is an addition operation, so that's why we will get an error, because we can't make an operation on string and integer, but we can make operation on integers only, or we can concatenate strings together normally. The program doesn't print out anything, but instead throws an error. Here Python tells us that combining two different types of values will not work, just like that in case of the result is of the type string, while the other stored in result is the type of integer. If we do want to print out a string and an integer in a single command, the integer can be cast as a string with a str function, and the two strings can then be combined normally. For example, if we want to add a string in the same line as the integer, we can convert the integer to a string like the result is, in order to make them homogeneous. So the same example, result equal 10 times 25, which is basically 250. And when we print the result is plus str, here what is happening is what happens is first of all 10 will be multiplied by 25, which will give us 250. Then 250 here as a result will be converted into a string. Basically, we are adding like a quotation mark between the number. Okay. The print command also has built-in functionalities that support combining different types of values. The simplest way is to add a comma between the values. Okay, all the values will be printed out regardless of their type. Okay, so another way of typing two different data types together, and instead of having to convert the integer to string, you can just simply add a comma, and it will be interpreted normally, and there will be no conversion of the data of the integer type. So, for example, we made the same variable, which is result, and we assigned 10 times 25 to it. Then we add a print command or a print function to our program, and we said the result is comma and result. So it will print the result is and 250 as an integer, not as a string, because we might, for example, need to make other operations on the result, so it won't be practical to convert integers to string in this case. Notice that there is an automatically added white space character between the values separated by a comma. So when we add a comma between different values, we simply get a white space, or automatically added white space, between the two different values. There is also another way of typing results, which is printing with if strings. What if we want to have more flexibility and control over what we print out? So-called if strings are another way of formatting printouts in Python. This is only explicit to Python, I guess. The syntax can initially look a bit confusing, but in the end, if strings are often the simplest way of formatting text. With if strings, the previous example would look like this. Here, the same example, result equal 10 times 25 equal print, and we type F in the beginning of the text, even before the quotation mark. The result is, and we are putting our variable between curly braces. So when we execute this program, we are expecting to see the result is 250 normally. Actually, we can add more data types by using if. If we have more variables, we can add them by using the curly braces for the variable, or by adding a curly braces between each variable in the same statement or the same sentence. Let's break this apart in the very beginning. In the very beginning of the string, we are printing out there is a character if. Character if tells Python that what follows is an if string within the string enclosed in the curly braces. So basically, Python is telling the program that what comes after the if string is simply a variable. Whatever its type, it will be printed, but we have to add curly braces between each variable we type in order to be defined to the if string. The value it contains become a part of the printed string. The print out is exactly the same as the previous example, which is result is 250. A single if character can contain multiple variables, as I said before. For example, we can make another example where we made 3 variables. First one is name, which is Mark, age is 37, and city is Palo Alto. So when we print the output, we can print it this way, print, and we put the if string out here. Then the double quotation mark, hi, between curly braces, the variable name, comma, you are, between curly braces, age, years old, and period, you live in, between curly braces, city. And each variable here will be substituted by its value thanks to the if string. So the print out will be like this. Hi Mark, you are 37 years old, you live in Palo Alto. Simply. It's difficult to create print out exactly like this using the comma annotation in the print command. For example, this program, name equal Mark, age equal 37, city equal Palo Alto, print hi, comma name, comma you are, comma age, comma years old, dot you live in city. This is not really practical, but actually it might work. Yes, it works, but it's really not practical. So the if string actually more convenient than using this, because when we need to type a variable name, we will have to separate it by a comma each time. And this is actually not practical. However, it works, but it's not practical. So the if string, I think it's more simpler than using the comma each time. Notice the automatically inserted white space between each comma separated part of the printout. Preventing print from adding the extra spaces is technically possible, but not worth the trouble given that we can instead use the if string. In its simplicity, the comma notation of the print command can often be useful, but it does sometimes cause more trouble than it worth. If string are usually a more reliable option. In part 4, you will learn more about the handy features of if string when it comes to formatting printouts. If string and Python versions. If you are using an older version of Python, if string may not work. They were introduced in Python version 3.6 later on during the course. You will install Python on your own computer. Unfortunately, the more modern versions of Python are not always available for older operating systems. If that's is the case with your computer, when there are exercises requiring you to use f-string, you can always try them out in browser exercise templates in these early parts of this course. So that's not a big deal. We actually we have installed the latest version of Python 3, so it won't be a problem for us. So our next exercise is called extra space. Basically, your friend is working on an app for job seekers. She sends you this, a bit of code. Name equal Tim Tester, age equal 20, skill 1 equal Python, level 1 beginner, skill 2 Java, level 2 veteran, skill 3 programming, level 3 semi-professional. Lower equal 2000, upper equal 3000. Print, my name is name, I am, age, years old. Print, my skills are, print, here we have a dash sign, skill 1, and we are separating everything by a comma. Level 1, skill 2, level 2, print skill 3, level 3, print I'm looking for a job with a salary of lower 2, which is represented by the dash sign, upper euros per month, I guess. Yes. The program should print out exactly the following. If we executed the program, we will see the following output, which is my name is Tim Tester. I am 20 years old. My skills are, first of all, Python. I'm a beginner. Java. I'm a veteran. Programming. A semi-professional. I'm looking for a job with a salary of 2,000 to 3,000 euros per month. Actually, the code works almost correctly, but not quite. This exercise has a very strict tests which check output for every single bit of the white space. Please fix the code so that the printout looks right. Notice especially how the comma notation in the print command automatically inserts a space around the different comma separated ports. The easiest way to transform the code so that it meets requirement is to use the f string normally. Hint, you can print an empty line by adding an empty print command or by adding a new line character, which is \n into your string. So we will do the same exercise, but we instead of using commas, we will use f string, and we might also use \n character in order to make new lines instead of having to type a new print function or print command. Okay, do remember to be extra careful when formatting printouts. Also in the future on this course, some of the exercises have tests that require your output to be exactly as specified in the example given. For example, please use actual white space characters in your code instead of ASCII character codes for white space or some such. So in the next or the following code, we have name, Tim Tester, age 20, skill 1 Python, skill 1 level 1 beginner, skill 2 Java, and the same variable, actually same variables from the previous example. Print, my name is name, and we need to fix this one. So what we can do here is adding f string right here, and we, instead of having to type comma each time, we can do something like this, where we just, first of all, I need to remove every comma from here, each comma, in order to and I will actually test each one in order to make sure that I'm getting the right. Yes, that's correct. But I have to remove okay. Actually, instead of using lots of print commands, we can do it in just one by adding slash n to make, or backslash n to make new line. No, I don't want names, just want to continue printing out my, I don't know if this will work, but where's n? My skills are okay. What can we say? We will also add backslash n. And we will add an f string right here. We will type skill1, and between yes, between we'll simply say level 1. Then the next line would be something like this. Another f string, quotation, dash skill2, and we will type the level 2. We'll add another and another f string. I don't know if I'm doing this correctly, but one moment. By adding into your string, I guess I have to get this here. And finally, I guess you'll have to remember, guys, I'm not teaching anything. I'm just walking through the course because I'm still learning. Actually, I'm not teaching. So if you want to learn something, I guess you better watch someone who is expert in this field, because the reason why I'm doing this actually is I'm applying the Feynman technique, where I'm trying to discuss or walk through the material and try to explain it in order to prove to myself that I understand it. So basically, I'm not trying to teach this material. I'm actually doing it in order to improve myself in this kind of you understand me. Sorry, my language actually I'm not a native English speaker, so I might not be able to express each idea in my mind, but I'm trying actually to improve. So please bear with me. We are trying to do our best here. Okay. Brent, I'm looking for a job with a salary of another f string. I actually don't know, should we? Actually, yes, we should. We actually don't have to. I am looking for a job with a salary of nope lower upper euros per month, and I will end it like that. Let's try to comment this section out. We'll try to run our program. I see that we are getting the same. Let's check it out like that. Let's check this out. Markup capture. No man, no, I didn't need to do this. I actually need to markup capture. I actually wanted to put it in the snipping tool so I can compare it to the original one. So I might save it first. I'll open it. Minimize the image. Let's get up there. Let's compare then. Okay. So my name is a variable. My name is Tim Tester. I'm 20 years old. My skills are Python beginner, but actually he didn't give the same brackets. Veteran, semi-professional. So I think something is missing in our code. We'll try to fix it. Okay, let's get back. So there's something not quite right here. I guess actually we should put the brackets outside of our variable. Let's try to do it with one of them before. Yeah, that's correct. Our brackets should be outside the curly braces in order to be interpreted correctly. So let's just do this and let's run it again. Think this might work. Let's test it out. But first of all, let's just take this. Let's run it. Let's test it. There is an error. Your program output contain incorrect amount of rows. Output should contain exactly 8 rows. Make sure that you print also empty rows. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And here, how many rows do we have? Run. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, yes, he is correct. So what can we do to solve this problem? We have like 6, and here's my name is, and then we have a new line. So we might actually add a new line here. Let's try to run it. Yes. Here there are no spaces or empty lines. So we might add a new line right here or right here. Let's try to check this out. So we can just add a new line here. Let's run. Yes. So basically here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's test it out. Another error. My name is, okay. My name is Tim Tester. I'm 20 years old. Python editor test the print one. My name is Tim Tester. I am 20 years old. Not equal to. My name is Tim Tester. I am 20 years old. So there might be a misspelling somewhere. So we might copy paste the values. Copy and paste them. I am 20 years old. I am 20 years old. Yeah, I think their problem is here. We should be adding a comma. My name is name. And then we have a comma after the name. So we have to add a comma. Let's test it. A different error. Output in row 4 is incorrect. Output was beginner. Please note that there is a space at the beginning of the row. Number 4. I guess he means 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Which is here skill 1, level 1. 4 is incorrect. Output was Python beginner. Beginner. Okay, what does it look like? Python beginner. And here we just added skill 1. Okay, let's run it. Python beginner. So what might be the problem? What's the difference between both of these results? Python beginner. Here, Python beginner. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what is the problem? Output in row 4 is incorrect. Output was Python beginner. Please note that there is a space at the beginning of the row. So do you mean like, yeah, I understood now. You mean like there is a space like that. And I guess there is a space everywhere. Just add a space like that, space like that. Let's run it. Yes, test it. Another error. Okay, the error is I am looking for a job with a salary of 2,000 to 3,000 euros per month. Not equal to, I am looking for a job with a salary of 2,000 to, yes, that's correct. That's true. However, here we are having space between both of the values, so it's a little bit weird to see this. So we might just separate between them with, like, we might see from the previous one, we might just make it like that. Let's see this. This belongs to this. This belongs to this, and we should also. I guess we should also add one here. Yes, I think that's it. Or what? Let's run it. I think we might get an error. We didn't get an error, but actually, I think that's a bigger space. I think we might add F here. Run it again. Let's test it. Yes, this one. Output in row 8 is incorrect. It should be, I'm looking for a job with a salary of 2,000. Actually, there is no space. Like, I just wasted. Let's just put it like that. Let's see it. Yes. And I think everything's fine now. Yes, everything's fine. Okay, let's now move on to the floating point numbers. Just one moment, I will get back to you. Thank you so much for waiting. We will get back to our to the last point we were at, which is floating point numbers. Floating point number or float is a term you will come across often in programming. It refers to numbers with a decimal point. They can be used much in the same way as integer values. This program calculates a mean of 3 floating point number, as we can see right here, number 1, 2.5. Basically, why does it named as float? That's because here we have a point. This point can float between different numbers. For example, here we have one number, so the point float to one number. Here we have two numbers, and we can have a lot more than that, like 3 or 4, etc. And the point float through these numbers, and in this side and in this side. Here we have number 1, 2.5, number 2, negative 1.25, number 3, 3.62. Suppose we want to calculate the mean of these three numbers. What we are going to do is add all of these numbers together and divide them by their amount or their number. Like we have three numbers, so we will divide them by 3. Pretty simple. Print. So when we print the mean, we will use as a print function print f to the f string in order to be able to concatenate the value of the mean variable in this sentence. So the mean will be 1.62 and a lot of 3s, as we can see here. So the next exercise, we will deal with some arithmetics. This program already contained two integer variables, x and y. X equal 27 and y equal 15. Please complete the program so that it also print out the following. 27 plus 15 equal 42. 27 minus 15 equal 12. 27 times 15 equal 405. 27 divided 15 equal 1.8. The program should work correctly even if the values of the variable are changed. That is if the first two lines are replaced with this x equal 4, y equal 9. So basically we can we might change the numbers in order we will get an input from the user, not just hard-coded values like as we can see here. But let's try to complete the code. As we can see it right here, we'll have lots of print functions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically we can do this instead. So first of all, we'll add if string and we will type x plus y equal, wow, no. Actually, I don't want to do this, because if I did it like this, I guess it will give me the value already, not just 4 plus 9. So Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, let's continue. X plus Y. Actually, it didn't give me the total, but equal. So what if I typed them together like that without having to change run? Yes, it will operate normally. So basically, since we wrote the values, both of them inside the same curly braces, they will the operation will be done on them normally. Okay, but I guess we don't need to make these spaces right here. Do we have space here? I don't know. Yes, we have space here. How about here? Yes, we have space. We have a space, and we have a space. But I don't know. I might leave the spaces. Okay, let's copy this. Yeah, okay, like that. We will just change the operator. Okay, the next one. Finally, we then will do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Okay, let's test it out. Run. Yes. But if I said test, it will give me an error because actually I should write or I should give the user the opportunity to add his input, and instead of just giving a hard-coded value. Or it might work. Yes, it might. It works. Okay, there's no need. Alright, so here's our last exercise for this section. We simply will have to fix the code. Each print command usually prints out a line of its own, complete with the change of a line at the end. However, if the print command is given an additional argument, end equal double quotation mark, it will not print a line change. For example, print hi, end equal quotation double quotation mark, print there. Print hi. Okay, let's see this again. Each print command usually prints out a line of its own, okay? Complete with a change of a line at the end. However, if the print command is given an additional argument end, if we add the argument end to the print command, what will happen, but not just end, we will have to add end equal this double quotation mark. It will not print a line change. So yes, I understand now. If we added this, simply we are just concatenating this one right here, because normally if we didn't add this one, if we didn't add end equal double quotation mark without a space, what will happen is the other output will be printed in another line. So instead of having hi there in one line, we will have hi in one line and there in the second line. So we can simply do it here. Can simply write it like that, and then sorry, we will delete this and save, And if we ran this, I wanna delete. Okay, it will just print hi and there. However, here, if we added the comma and equal double quotation mark and ran it again, you will see both of these outputs are concatenated together like that. Okay, so what should we do right now? Please fix this program so that the entire calculation complete with the result is printed out on a single line. Don't change the number of print commands used. So basically what we are going to do is we will not delete any of these print commands or functions. Here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 print functions or print commands. Simply what we are going to do is we will try to make the output instead of it like spread throughout the screen like that vertically. We'll have to make it in one line horizontally. So yeah, we will just simply, I think we will add this part, which is a comma and equal. My mouse is so bad, man. It simply what my mouse does is when I click on something, it simply click it twice. If I clicked it once, it clicked it twice. So this makes me so mad actually. I can't select anything. Okay, so basically I think what we are going to do is adding this section for on each print function except for the last one. So if I ran this one, I will see this plus besides this one. So if I type this, I will see 5 plus 8, and if I add comma and equal double quotation, I will see minus. Instead of having it right here, it will get up right here as the following, and then 4, and then equal, and then we are having the summation or the whole operation of this right here, so I don't have to add this section again because everything right here is added normally. So if I tested this out, it will work, hopefully. Yes, it worked, and this is the end of this part 3, or section 3 of part 1, Introduction to Programming using Python programming language from the course of University of Helsinki. And this is just a walkthrough for this course. I'm not teaching anything, I'm just studying it. So the reason why I'm doing these videos is just I'm applying the principle of Feynman, where I'm just trying to explain what is going on here in order to prove to myself that I'm understanding it. And I'm basically sharing my journey with you guys, and I hope you enjoy it. And thank you for watching, and have a great one, and I will see you in the next one.